Is your binge eating getting in the way of your health, happiness, and weight loss? Watch this video and I'll show you how to reduce your binge eating and lose that weight for good. Hi, I'm Ivana. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified. Today, we're going to be talking about binge eating, which can be a serious problem for some people. Now, we all have times when we experience overeating. So you might be at a holiday event and you're grabbing a second plate, or you're having a whole bag of popcorn when you hit the movies, or sometimes you just, that tub of Ben & Jerry's, you finish the entire thing. And that kind of occasional overeating, yes, it's going to affect your weight loss, but binge eating on a regular basis can actually be a very serious disorder. Binge eating disorder is actually, since about 2013, it's been classified in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. So it falls along the same lines as anorexia and bulimia. So if you're frequently binge eating and you feel guilt about that and it affects the quality of your life, then that actually becomes an eating disorder. So whether or not you fall into that category, I'm not sure, but I want to help you deal with binge eating, even if you're doing it just occasionally and it's not technically a mental disorder as far as you're concerned. If you do need help, I'm going to include a link below for eating disorders, both in the US and Canada, because if you need professional help, then you're probably not going to get the answer on YouTube. Please speak to someone specifically about that. Today I'm going to talk on a more general basis, the kind of stuff that most of us experience, the binge eating and overeating that almost everybody experiences at some point or another, and how you can deal with that. I'm going to break it down into 5 simple ways that you can help overcome binge eating and overeating. And stick around to the end, because number 5 is the one I consider absolutely essential for overcoming binge eating long term. So that one's super important. Anyway, we'll start off with number 1, avoid restrictive diets. I am not a huge fan of fad diets. Not that they don't have a place at certain points, and there are medical conditions for which certain diets may be appropriate. However, in general, restrictive diets where you're eliminating certain food groups or where you're just not allowed to eat things for no particular reason, or you have to eat something like, say, celery, and that's supposed to be the basis of your diet. Those kind of things, they don't really develop a healthy relationship with food. And if you're trying to follow these types of diets, you're going to find that you're always missing something and you're probably craving certain things. So that's going to lead you to overeat at some point, because your willpower only works for a certain period of time, and then you give up. You see that pizza and you want that pizza, or you want that ice cream. I actually went through a period where, after I'd had years of digestive issues, I was going through a diet that had been given to me by, it was a naturopathic practitioner, and a very typical one at that. It was no wheat, no dairy, no sugar, except that I was allowed to have fruit for some reason. And I followed this diet for about 4.5 months, and it was very, as you know, very, very restrictive and very challenging to follow. And I became almost obsessed with food, and I would have dreams about food. So I'd be dreaming that I'd be at a buffet, and then all of a sudden in my dream I'd be scared that, oh my God, I just ate something that had a little bit of gluten in it, and what's that gonna do? And for that purpose, I wasn't doing it for weight loss. Although for this, I'm kind of trying to focus this video for weight loss, but I was doing that in order to try to heal a digestive condition. And so my motivation was very strong. However, it's still not possible, and it's usually not necessary to have such an excessively restrictive diet. And that's one of the reasons why people end up overeating and binge eating, because they just can't maintain it. So avoid restrictive diets. The next one is give up your all or nothing mentality. This was a really big one for me for a long time, and I have a couple clients, they know who they are, for which it's also a big thing. So they're okay as long as they're following the plan. Like, I was okay following a very strict plan, and then after a while it'd be like, oh no, it's not important anymore. So if I have chocolate that one time, then it all spirals, and then all of a sudden I have chocolate and ice cream and all the other things that I really love to eat and that I had restricted myself from eating. And in some cases, people will also give up exercising. So they think it's okay if they're following the right nutrition plan day to day, like they're following some sort of restrictive, perhaps it's clean eating or something like that. So they're following a restrictive plan and then they're exercising, and they have to be doing everything or they're going to do nothing. So rather than just incorporating small changes into your life, you're deciding that it's only working if it's 100%. Like if you're fully committed, then that's the only way it's going to work. A lot of people avoid getting coaching. For instance, I've had people contact me and say, well, I'd like to get coaching. However, I'm going on holiday in next month and I really don't think that there's any point because, it's all going to go awry in a month because I'm going on vacation. So that's not really how it works. In order to manage your lifestyle appropriately and have long-term success with weight loss, you need to allow treats into your day. You need to have some chocolate once in a while if that's your thing. You need to have some French fries once in a while if that's your thing. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Yes, you can lose, 10 pounds by following a very restrictive plan, but how long are you going to be able to keep that up? You can't just be all in all the time. Things will happen in your life. You might get sick, you might get injured, your kids might get sick. You might have a death in your family. Something will happen and then you're going to get thrown off. But that doesn't mean you throw out the exercise. It doesn't mean that you just start eating junk all day long and that's what your new decision is. You can have a more, for lack of a better word, moderate way of managing your lifestyle that will allow you to lose weight. So you need to give up that all or nothing mentality. Number 3 is work on building your self-esteem and your confidence. Now, it's actually shown that people who engage in binge eating and overeating behaviors tend to have lower self-esteem. So building your self-esteem is a really key thing. And it can be very hard. A lot of us have things that go back many, many years, people who criticized us, and we've taken that on board. So you need to build your confidence first from your strengths. So you need to think about what you're really good at. Are you really strong at the gym? Are you a really good singer? Are you a great mom? Are you a great dad? Are you really good at negotiating in meetings? What are your strengths? And you need to focus on those things and start to build your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. Because confidence and just feeling like you have the ability to deal with challenges is going to go a long way. A lot of people will overeat or binge eat when they're in stressful situations or when they feel like maybe someone's let them down or they've had a really tough time. Maybe someone's criticized them and that's why they go to overeat. If you build your confidence gradually over time, then other people's feelings about you are not going to make such a difference. You need to feel strong in yourself. My purpose in terms of my entire business as a coach is to make people feel fit, healthy, and strong. But strength is not just physical strength. Strength is also mental strength. So you need to know that you're a good, strong person, that you can handle whatever life throws at you. And if you feel that you're a confident person, you have high self-esteem, you're going to be less likely to overeat or binge eat. Number 4, find ways to deal with negative feelings. Not food, of course. A lot of us use food to deal with negative feelings. So a lot of us do emotional eating. If we get stressed or anxious, then we turn to food. I have done this many times, and I did experience binge eating in the past. In my 20s, I had a period of several years where I experienced binge eating, and every time I had difficult feelings, I would have binge eating episodes. Exercise is one of those things that can help you deal with negative feelings, but it doesn't work in all circumstances. It does work for me now where I'm in a more confident, secure place, and if I just feel tense or anxious or irritated about something, I can go to the gym and kind of work that off, and I feel better afterwards, and it can release a lot of tension. However, at the time that I was experiencing binge eating, I was exercising a lot. I was exercising quite regularly, so it didn't help me in that way. Like, part of it was my frustration with not being able to exercise the way that I wanted to because I had digestive issues and I started to feel depressed about that, and then I would have binge eating episodes as a result. So the exercise that I was doing wasn't enough to kind of get me through it. There are other things though that can help you manage your negative feelings. So mindfulness, meditation, some people like yoga, and those kind of things can also be, they can be useful for helping you find out what's going on underneath. It's also important not to wallow too much in those things, right? So you need to actually take action. In a lot of cases, it's best to get support from others, especially if you do think that you have a disorder that is significant and medical. So you definitely want to deal with that and get some professional help for that. But if you just need a little support, then it's a good idea to join just a simple support group, sometimes just a fitness and nutrition group. My clients have a group, a private Facebook group, and I have people supporting each other through that group because we all have similar challenges. If you just need to talk to a friend, then make sure you reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm having a rough time. Try to reach out to others, because if you fall into yourself, you're actually more likely to be binge eating and overeating. So reach out for help when you need it. And number 5, the one you've been waiting for, and to me, the most important one, let go of the guilt. Guilt really doesn't help you at all. If you're feeling guilty about overeating or about anything else, it's only going to make things worse. If you feel guilty, you feel bad about yourself, you feel bad in general, and that's only going to lead you to probably more overeating and binge eating. And a lot of my clients have told me that they fall into this cycle when they don't follow the plan that they've set out for themselves. Something happens and throws them off track. All of a sudden they feel really bad about it. Then those bad feelings lead them to more overeating, and it just gets worse and worse. Guilt is one of those things that we all have at some point, but it's really not valuable to you unless it's going to push you to positive action, and it generally doesn't. Most people who feel guilty just feel bad. They feel anxious, they feel down, and that only leads you to a different bad place. So give up that guilt, and then you'll be able to overcome your binge eating and overeating. I really hope that I've said something today that's connected with you. Please do give me a like if there's something that you connected with, and let me know in the comments if there's something that really spoke to you. I also want to help you on your fitness journey, so head over to my website, ivanachapman.com. I'm offering a free ebook, free just for joining my email list. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified, and I will see you next week.